Here's a mind-bending story for you. The Clockmaker's Paradox. Elias was a quiet clockmaker in a forgotten town, the kind of place where time moved slowly and no one bothered to notice it ticking by. He spent his days repairing old pocket watches, grandfather clocks, and brass-geared curiosities. But unknown to the townsfolk, Elias wasn't just a clockmaker, he was a guardian of time itself. Hidden beneath his shop was a chamber filled with clocks, each ticking at a different rhythm. They weren't just clocks, they were worlds. Each timepiece held another timeline, another version of reality. And Elias kept them synchronized, ensuring that none drifted too far from the others. One evening, while winding a peculiar silver watch, Elias froze. The watch wasn't ticking. That had never happened in all his years. When he opened it, instead of gears, he saw himself, standing in a shop identical to his, but older and desperate. The older Elias spoke. "Greater than do not wind the watch. If you do, everything collapses." But another voice echoed from behind, his own, but younger. "Wind it, and you'll end the loop. Trust me." He looked between the two versions of himself, heart pounding. For the first time in his life, he hesitated. He had always been the master of time, but now time had cornered him. One future begged, one future demanded, and the present held the choice. He wound the watch. The room shattered like glass. Suddenly he was everywhere at once, every version of himself across infinite timelines. He saw worlds where he was a king, a beggar, a child, a villain, a ghost. Every life, every choice, every lost moment, compressed into a single breath. Then, silence. He was back in his shop. Everything looked normal. But the clocks were still now, every one of them. The air felt heavy. Time had stopped. On the counter lay the silver watch, ticking again. Inside it, he was still standing, older and younger versions staring back at him, forever trapped in the moment of choice. He understood. He had become the watch. And somewhere, in another reality, another Elias was about to wind it. Time didn't move forward that day. It simply began again. If you want, I can write part 2, where we find out what happens to the world when its clockmaker is trapped in his own creation.